Junior Caminero has hit lots of dingers, but let's not forget about Brandon Lowe.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulysses.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who've been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
Later on in today's show, Ryan Pepiot is the only young starter who has taken steps forward. In a few minutes, we'll discuss Junior Caminero not just surpassing Carlos Pena's record of 46 homers in a season, but possibly getting to 50 homers someday. But to start, Brandon Lowe is nearing an offensive milestone.
And we're going to talk about all of that. But first, we got to tell you that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets right now.
All right. Yes, we've talked a lot about Junior Caminero, but let's not forget about Brandon Lowe. He has 27 homers as of this recording, with give or take 27 games remaining. So that means he's on pace for 32 to 33 homers. And it would be quite the sight, a rare sight for the Rays to have two 30 homers players. It's only happened a couple times in Rays history: 2021, 2017, 2016, 2009, and 1999. So that's why I'm rooting for Brandon Lowe, among other reasons, to get to at least the big 3-0.
I think we should say the names for each of those seasons so people can kind of play some trivia there too.
Yes. So 2021, it was Brandon Lowe and Mike Zunino. In 2017, it was Steven Souza and Logan Morrison. 2016, it was Evan Longoria and Brad Miller. 2009, it was Longo again and Carlos Pena. And then 1999, blast from the past, it was Jose Canseco and Fred McGriff. So that just shows the rarity of a feat that Junior Caminero and Brandon Lowe could be on for today. And it just also underscores the fact that the Rays have not had a lot of pop in their tenure as a franchise.
They have such an issue with hitting dingers, and that's usually because if you hit a lot of them, you get paid a lot of them. The Rays don't like to pay a lot for players. So, but funnily enough, in those years you mentioned, 99, no playoffs. 09, no playoffs. 2016, horrible record, no playoffs. 2017, no playoffs. 2021 is the only one of that list that they actually went to the playoffs. And this time, if it happens, guess what? No playoffs. So
weird.
It's
that
so
is
weird.
Like bizarro world.
It's the opposite. They tell you hit home runs, you're usually going to be scoring more runs, and more runs means you're winning games. And it hasn't been that case for the Rays. So maybe they're also kind of snickering, saying, "You guys want more bats? Well, it doesn't work when we go that way."
Well, it also doesn't work when you have two guys in Brandon Lowe and Junior Caminero surrounded by a million rookies on the roster getting their first major league action. But this is what we've said about Brandon Lowe: is if he plays the games, if he racks up games played, he will put up offensive numbers. And that's something that clearly has been an issue over the last several years as he's dealt with injuries. But if we see Brandon Lowe get 134, 140 games played in and around that area, he's going to rack up the offensive productivity. And I think something that doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that he has so much power for a second baseman. What he is doing and what he's done when healthy is very rare for a guy, not only of his stature, but of the position he plays. It's one thing if he was doing this as a first baseman or a third baseman or a corner outfielder, but he's an up the middle player. And I think we probably over the last decade plus been spoiled because there has been an influx of second basemen who have shown pop, like Ian Kinsler and Chase Utley and Jose Altuve and Robinson Cano, Dan Ugla, guys of that ilk. But it is still pretty much a rare breed for a guy who plays that position to, put up the type of offensive capability that Brandon Lowe has up to this point. And really what it shows me with Brandon Lowe is You know, as he gets older, we've seen him maybe lost a step speed-wise and then defensively. If he's still able to produce like he's doing this season over the next couple of years, I think any team, any organization would be okay with, all right, we'll just shift you to first. We'll have you play some more DH.
And
Your bat is valuable enough to merit you not having to play second base.
And we've seen that shift a little bit happen this year with him playing a little bit more first. And if you're an OG Locked On Race listener from 2019, guess what? This podcast has been on the podium since that year saying Brandon Lowe, shipped him. I want him at first. I don't care about the stature. I don't care that he would be kind of a smallish guy for first base. Put him there. He would give you a ton of value. We've seen that shift happening year in, year out, and especially with this one. But yeah, I mean, he has a great chance to finally hit that 30 home run mark again since 2021. And when you look at the games played, Kevin, he's already a 112. That makes us his second most played ever in Major League Baseball. The 2021 season where he had 39 home runs, he played 149. But other than that, it's been 82 games. It's been 65 games, 109 games, 107 last year, and now he's surpassed that. So with 27 games left, at least you want him to hit 20 more of those games at least. So he's going to overpass the 130 mark, and that's what you want. I mean, I know in 2025, it's very difficult to ask for any team to apparently just make athletes play 150 plus games. It's like, no, they're made of crystal. They can't do that. It's like, well, I don't think so. So now we have to shift that standard. And if he's able to hit 130, that would be a tremendous season. And you look at the numbers, Kev, too. Like the slash line for Brandon Lowe, yes, the power is impressive, but the slash line, 264 average, yes, I'll sign up for that. 320 on base, yes, I'll sign up for that. 483 slug, 811 OPS, 124 OPS plus. We can focus on the home runs and the fact that he's got a great opportunity to hit 30 home runs. But overall, this season has been incredibly complete for him.
Yeah. And for those maybe out there who are saying, well, aren't his home runs a little bit uplifted by the fact that he has the short porch at Steinbrenner Field? Okay, maybe I'll give you a little bit of that, but also say that 2021, the Rays were playing at the Trop for half their games, and what did he do? He hit 39 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, if you look deeper into the home runs he's hit, his average home run distance is 403 feet. That is the best on the team. That's even better than Junior Caminero. And his longest home run this season is 458 feet. That is only behind Jonathan Aranda this season. So Brandon Lowe is a guy that, similar to Caminero and other power hitters, that it doesn't matter if you're playing half your games at Steinbrenner Field or Tropicana Field, he's going to find a way to get the ball out of the ballpark. And he's done that this season, and he's shown that in the past when he's healthy. And I don't know. It's weird because I think probably a little bit because of the injuries and he doesn't have a big personality, I still think he's underrated across the game, even though he's a two-time All-Star.
I don't think that any guy could do such a good season this quiet. I mean, 30 homer seasons, you should be highlighting the guy. He is quietly going around his business. And I think obviously the market shapes how, somebody is spotlighted. Obviously, being a Tampa Bay Ray, you're never going to get that big spotlight. Even Junior Caminero, like, he's not even getting as much props as he probably should be. He's getting some because what he's doing is so great that, like, okay, there are at least some eyes on him, and the home run derby definitely help. But with Brandon Lowe, it's not even this year. It's been throughout his career. He is incredibly solid. I know, and we've talked about this, the October struggles are there. Mm-hmm. The October struggles are real.
We don't have to worry about that this season, though.
We don't have to worry about that this season. That is some type of depressing. But if we don't laugh about it, folks, then we would be in the fetal position in the corner. So they're there. But I think when you look at his body of work, for the Rays, he's getting up there with franchise leaders. And that's why next year, this team most definitely needs him in the lineup.
And speaking of power, Junior Caminero has his sights on hitting 50 homers someday.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. Isn't that nice? And you and I make decisions every day. Kevin does as well. But on PrizePicks, being right means cashing. And wouldn't it be nice to be right and get some green Skittles back? Well, PrizePicks does exactly that. It's quick, easy, and everybody's favorite way to follow along with football. So today, download the PrizePicks app and use code LOCKEDONMLB. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So again, download the PrizePicks app, use code LOCKEDONMLB, and you get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. The NFL season is almost here. Kevin is psyched, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. That's $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Sounds like a pretty good deal, people. And what makes FanDuel amazing is that it's quick, easy, and it's the best way to add a little green Skittles on your Sunday that you don't know where to put them. Well, you can use FanDuel for that. You got same game parlays, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast, your first listen every day. We appreciate it. We are part of course, the Locked On Podcast Network. Ulises, last week we talked about Junior Caminero and the potential and capability to unseat Carlos Pena for the Rays single season home run record. Pena has that mark set with 46, and Junior is hopefully going to get to 47 this season. Every game that is played that he doesn't hit a homer makes the chance less likely to happen. But even if he's not able to get that record this year, I think he will eventually get that record. And furthermore, I think he has the positioning to one day hit 50 homers in the season. And what brings that up to me is the fact that it's been done multiple times over the last couple of years. It's going to be done this year. It's already been done by Big Dumper with the Seattle Mariners, Cal Raleigh. I don't know. Raleigh, however you pronounce his name.
Raleigh, I think. It's like Raleigh.
Okay, got it.
I thought it was like the capital of North Carolina. I thought it was Raleigh, but I guess it's not Raleigh.
I guess we're wrong. But he is 50 this year, and Kyle Schwarber has 49. Schwarber recently hit 4 home runs in a game, so that bumped him up quite a bit. He's going to get to the big 5-0, and will probably get a big payday this offseason as a free agent. Last year, we saw Shohei Ohtani hit 54. We saw Aaron Judge hit 58. So it is being done maybe a little bit more consistently than we've seen in previous years with some rare players with rare pop. But the fact that Junior Caminero just turned 22 years old, is already at 39, to me, that signals that it is only a matter of time, maybe as soon as next year, that he can hit the big 5-0. We know about the raw power. We know about the bat speed. We know about the contact ability that is better than a lot of power hitters out there. I think he is destined to do it. Not to say that it'll be a consistent, hey, he's going to hit 50 homers and, 4 consecutive seasons, but I think there can be an odd year out there where he gets to that marker where everything goes right. And then his other seasons will be a more respectable 30, 35 to 40 to 42, whatever it may be. I think his career year, he can get to 50 plus.
There's always going to be a peak. And I wouldn't put it past him that his peak would be 50 or more home runs. And that could come in 2026. I mean, he's got that ability. And when you look at the fact of two things that I think are not being talked about enough. Number one, him being 22 and already hitting 39, his body, the anatomy, he's not fully grown yet. He doesn't even have his full power potential of his anatomy, of his physicality. He's going to get stronger. So
wait till he's 25.
He's doing this at 22 without the full capability of his body. Imagine what he can do when he actually reaches that full capability of his body. So that's number one. Okay. Number two, which is kind of going along, maybe not the physicality, but the mentality. Being in the major leagues for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you understand how pitchers are going to attack you. You understand what pitchers are doing. You're also going to be a little bit more of an imposing figure. Junior Caminero might have not been an imposing figure March 2025. By March 2026, umpires, catchers, and pitchers are going to have a different type of respect to Junior. So that also happens with the mentality of he knows that. And that's just going to help him get better pitches, maybe get a little bit more plate discipline, choosing the right pitch selection to attack. Those two things, the physicality and the mentality of just waiting a little bit longer for that development to happen, is going to help him get to 50 home runs as soon as 2026. I agree. Now, would I put green Skittles on that bet? Maybe not yet, but is the opportunity there to maybe cash in 100%? And I know a big deal with home runs, like you mentioned with Brandon Lowe, is the park factor. Yes, he's been hitting at George M. Steinbrenner Field this whole year. But guess what? When you look at the home run breakout, which we did on that last episode we did of him, it's a non-factor for him. He basically has the same amount of home runs at home than away. So you can't say he's a Steinbrenner Field merchant, because he's not. He hits him everywhere. And not only that he hits him everywhere in cities and stadiums, is that he hits him all over the particular stadiums. He can hit him left field. He can hit him center field. He can hit him right. He's got power to all fields, which also helps the fact when you are trying to get to a number like 50, you're not just pulling the ball. Right. You can hit him anywhere, and Junior can do that.
Yeah, and with Junior, by the way, he's hit 13 homers to left field, 7 to left center, 8 to center, 4 to right center, 7 to right. He has 20 home runs at home at the Stein, 19 on the road. And already the month of August, he has 12 dingers. That is most in the majors, and trailing only Shohei Ohtani, who had 15 in April. And maybe the most staggering statistic from Junior Caminero this season is that he has 31 home runs in his last 81 games, which would project to a full season pace of 62. So if he's able to put on a ring like that for a couple months, he's there.
Repeat that slower for the folks in the back, because that's an incredible fact.
31 home runs by Junior in his last 81 games, which would project to a full season pace of of 62. I was thinking of Roger Maris. That would supplant Roger Maris. Which, speaking of historical players, here's another fun stat for you. Yeah. Players who have hit more homers than Caminero so far in their age 21 season, as determined as of June 30th. Eddie Matthews hit 47 in 1953. Mel Ott hit 42 in 1929. And Ronald Acuna Jr. hit 41 in 2019. That is rarefied air right there. And I hope that Junior is not the type that has that home run boom so early in his career and you don't see it again. Sort of like Acuna has experienced and a guy like Vladimir Guerrero has experienced. And I think a couple factors with that, particularly with, injuries is one, and then work ethic is two. And everything we've heard from fellow players and coaches is that he has that grind to get better. He is obviously working on his craft. And I would think that the only thing that could really hold him back from 50 is if he doesn't have help around him. if he doesn't have a Yandy Diaz around him, if he doesn't have a Brandon Lowe around him, if he doesn't have a one of these young players, a Carson Williams, a whomever that can step up and provide some protection, that is the only way that I would see, all right, well, he's the only guy that we got to focus on. We're pitching around him. We're giving him those 4 balls. We're going to give him that automatic to first base. Outside of that, again, I think it's only a matter of time before he gets 50. And, you know, you made a point about he's building a reputation among players, pitchers, umpires. That's only going to help him get better calls. And if he has help around him, in front of him, behind him, pitchers are going to be a little bit scared of him. They're going to get a little bit nervous. And what happens when you're nervous and you're thinking about so many things? You're going to give up a home run or two. You're going to make a mistake. And I would think that Caminero, again, to hit 50, you need the plate appearances. We haven't seen an issue with him getting hurt. He hasn't shown that he's injury prone. And I would think that maybe the Rays get a little bit more creative with putting him up a little bit higher in the order, having him bat second a little more often, which would give him the plate appearances to get to that 5-0 mark.
Yeah, second or third. You need to have him take as many at bats as possible, and I think that's the bottom line with him. The physicality is going to come, the work ethic is there, the mentality and reputation is going to come with the years. But you are right. The Rays front office needs to help him out and help each other out, the team, by having some protection around him, and that means a Yandy Diaz. That means a Brandon Lowe. That means a Jonathan Aranda. You have to have other guys that can do damage so that he's not so easy to highlight. No, does that mean that he still isn't going to get highlighted because Jonathan Aranda has another season like he did this year? No, he's still going to get highlighted, but then you're still going to make them pay by possibly walking Junior Caminero.
Yeah.
And now you got a Jonathan Aranda, you got a Yandy Diaz, you got a Brandon Lowe who's producing. Boom. Now you might not be into the individual record, but the team itself is succeeding.
Yeah. And with Junior, I mean, we are so spoiled, and he's quite frankly making the other Rays rookies and young players look bad because he's doing all this at 21, just turned 22 years old, where you have a guy like Jake Mangum, who's 29, Hunter Fiducia is 28. Bob Seymour is 26. Chandler Simpson is 24. Everson Pereira, who just hit his first home run, is 24. Carson Williams, basically the same age. And Junior is so far advanced of all those players. This is something to behold. I'll tell you what, Wander Franco couldn't do what Junior Caminero is doing at the same age as far as the power components. So
no, it's a special thing that we're seeing. And we've talked about hitting. How about we talk a little about pitching, because we'll find out why Ryan Pepiot has been the only young starter to truly take that next step forward.
All right, listeners, we have an important request for you all. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping out.
Hey, Locked On Rays fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Well, don't do that. Stop leaving money behind and get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use our limited time promo code and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You're already going to get gas, right? Well, why don't you get up to $300 a year just from buying that gas you already needed? Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and then you can cash out at any time using PayPal or an e-gift. card for Amazon and other brands. So don't let this offer drive by. Download the free Upside app right now. Use our limited time code for a limited 25-cent per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, Ryan Pepiot. We should talk about Ryan Pepiot because he's the only young starter for the Rays that took that next step forward. Because I remember the last series of 2024, we had the three young studs do great. We had Tosh Bradley, we had Shane Baz, and we had Ryan Pepiot start against the Boston Red Sox. And we said we need to see a step forward in these guys. They had great seasons. Let's see if they can get better. Unfortunately, Tosh Bradley did not get better, and in fact was demoted to AAA before getting traded to the Minnesota Twins at the trade deadline. Shane Baz, although not traded, although not demoted, you can see with his numbers, it hasn't been a step forward.
No.
You can
and we thought it would be. We thought this was going to be the year where he would establish himself as a true number 2 or number 3, and maybe eventually someday take the mantle from another Shane McClanahan. But that has not happened.
That has not happened. And then when you look at Ryan Pepiot, you look, okay, there are some step forwards. You can maybe nitpick and say, well, I don't like this peripheral and this expected stats is maybe getting a little bit lucky. But regardless, I think we're at the end of the season now with 27 games left, you said?
Give or take, yes.
Give or take 27. So we're almost at the end. If you look at Ryan Pepiot's season, I think it's a step forward because with the starts that he has made this year, which has been 28 starts, he already has 23 more innings than last year. So that tells me durability. That tells me that each time out, he's giving you more innings than last year. That's a step forward. When you look at his complete numbers, 153 innings pitched, a 3.82 ERA, almost 2 F4, 1.8, 149 Ks, 1.16 whip. But what I liked the most is from a starter, from a young guy, you don't want big blowups. You want to stay competitive in the game. Last year, when he had 26 starts, he had 9 quality starts. This year, he's bumped that up to 14. That's a step forward. You're giving your team 5 more of your outings where you can still win that game. That's what you should do. And when you look at some of his starts this year, where he has struggled with command and control. It actually happened against the Nationals this past weekend. He didn't have all of his command and control, especially with the fastball arm side, glove side. Like he wasn't really pinpointing it. He still gave you enough out there for you to win that game. I mean, he kept them clean when he was out there, and that happened also in the last time out there when he also pitched 5 scoreless. So with Pepiot, I think it should be highlighted that this 2025 season he was the only one of the 3 young starters to actually take that step forward.
Yeah, just as an aside, I think the old adage with starting pitchers are during the season you make 30 starts, you're going to have 5 where everything's working. You're going to have another 5 where you're just not feeling right. It's the other ones in the middle, in between, that you kind of have to make up and figure out. And the fact that he might not have had his best stuff, control, command, velocity, whatever it may be, and to still be able to get a quality start is something to be proud of. And, just in general, how many Rays starters truly give you 30 plus starts, and he's on pace for 175, 100 innings with those types of numbers. I don't think Ryan Pepiot is he's not number 1 material, maybe not even number 2 material, but I think he can be a really, really respectable number 3, if not number 4, probably a number 3 at the end of the day. But, there's really not much more you can ask for. And I know that you get a little bit envious of what Tyler Glasnow is able to do. But, for being able to get a guy that, well, he gave 130 innings last year. This year, he's going to supplant that by a large marker, and there's no indication that he's going to get hurt right now. Like he's stayed relatively healthy. And with Pepiot, I think the key for him, just like any pitcher, is when he gets ahead in counts, that's when he's his most dangerous. When it's an 0-2, 1-2 count, and he can use either his fastball as an out pitch or his changeup as an out pitch. And sometimes with lefties at the plate, he can deploy that slider in on the hand. So it really keeps hitters guessing, especially with the fastball changeup combination and having the same arm action and delivery and having the difference in velocity of 8 to 10 miles an hour. That's exactly what you're looking for from a guy like Ryan Pepiot. And the goal or the hope is that other guys can follow his lead, that, Shane Oz can show strides like him, that other young pitchers can show strides like him. Heck, he's more valuable than Shane McClanahan right now because Shane McClanahan's nowhere to be found for the last couple of years.
It's true. It hurts to say. Some people might be upset about that, but that's true. I mean, availability. I'd rather have a 3.82 availability for 30 starts, giving me 180 innings, than a 2.50 ERA for 2. Or guess what? A 0 ERA and 0 games started. You have to be available. To your point, though, Kev, that was really good with the way that the fastball and changeup work off each other. But there's also a matter if you're taking a step forward, you also have to take stock into your repertoire. And this year, he has worked with a sinker. Now, it's only been used around like 2.5% during the year, so not a lot. But that's something that comes with maturity. What else can I do? What else can I do that keeps the hitters guessing? And maybe a little bit maturing is also happening with the strikeouts. I said about the innings that it's been really nice to get him deep into the games. But how can you stay deep in the games is maybe by focusing a little bit more on contact, playing to contact, than just working to get 10 strikeouts each game. Does he have the strikeout mentality? Sure. But this year, it seems to me that he's maturing in the way to find a little bit more contact for less strikeouts in order to get deeper into the games, because his contact percentage has increased 4 points this year from 2024 to 2025, and the strikeouts have been going down. He's been able to be durable. He trusts his defense behind him to make plays. I think 2025 has definitely been that step forward that we were all hoping for.
Yeah, and I know he had a rough July, but he's really come back in August. In 27 2/3 innings this month, he has a 3.25 ERA. That's compared to a rough July of 5.03. And during that month of July, you might be thinking, well, is he losing some gas in the tank? Is he wearing down? Is there something wrong? Well, no, he comes back and shows that, hey, I can make the adjustments and get back on track for August. And I think that's key, is with young pitchers, not just having a good first half of the season or first 4 months. Can you complete it to the end? And we'll see what he does in September. But that's also good going forward, because the idea is that eventually the Rays will be a playoff team. And do you have the endurance and the stamina and the gumption to make an impact in the playoffs? Because that's something we need to see from Pepiot at some point, is how are you going to do when the lights are brightest and you're a relatively young pitcher?
But for that to happen, the Rays actually need to get to the playoffs. And 2024 and 2025 with Pepiot, they haven't been able to. So let's hope that changes in 2026.
Yes. In the meantime, thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast. We appreciate it. For your next listen, check out the Locked On MLB Game Night show. Every game, every night, all season long. That is on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast.